Live.
There's Melissa. Hi, Melissa. So glad you're here. Good. And we're only waiting for Mark. We've got another minute.
Chair Rose,
Yes,
just so you know, we are now live on YouTube.
thank you very much. We are waiting, we've got one more minute and we're waiting for one more commissioner. And either the minute will pass or the commissioner will come, or both. And we'll start. Yep, I was just, okay. I see him too, so. Okay. Commissioner Hoffman, welcome, welcome. Okay, I think we have the compliment. Okay. All right, are we ready? Good evening. My name is Susan Rose, and we are calling to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the City of Elmhurst Zoning and Planning Commission. Before we get started, because these are unusual times that call for unusual practices, I'm going to make sure everyone can hear me. Emily Egan, you are in the applicant room. Can you hear me? You're muted.
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Commissioner Snyder, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Commissioner Garland, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Commissioner Uditsky, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. The attorney, James Bolioli, did I say that correctly?
You did, and I can hear you.
And you can hear me. Excellent. Commissioner Burns, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Great. Commissioner Callaway, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Commissioner Hoffman, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Chair Rose.
Commissioner Pittman, can you hear me? Thank you. Commissioner McCoy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
And let me ask Assistant City Manager Mike Kopp, who is in the public comment room, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, and Court Reporter Kiki Andriopoulos, can you hear me? You're muted.
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, we've established that everyone can hear. As a matter of protocol, I would ask everyone when you are not speaking to please mute your microphone. It will really help with really the bandwidth and people being able to hear. So if it gets problematic, I'll just go ahead and exercise my right to mute you myself. So before we get started, as we get started, I'm going to ask Eileen Franz to please call the roll to establish a quorum.
Thank you. Commissioner Burns.
Here.
Commissioner Callaway.
Here.
Commissioner Garland. Commissioner Garland.
Commissioner Garland, can you hear us? I think you can.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Commissioner Garland?
Okay. Commissioner Garland is present. Commissioner Hoffman.
Here.
Commissioner McCoy.
Here.
Commissioner Pittman.
Here.
Commissioner Snyder.
Here.
Commissioner Uditsky.
Here.
Chair Rose.
Here. We have a quorum. The first item of business is public comment. And this is the time in the meeting when anyone can make a public comment on any, we hope we will contain it to zoning items, but you can make a comment really on anything. I would caution you, however, if you are wish to make a comment about one of the two cases we are hearing tonight, that you may want to wait until that time when any comments you make will be put on the public record. If you speak now, I don't mean to depress your ability to speak, but just so you know that if you speak now, none of your comments will be on the public record. So is there anyone who wishes to make a general public comment around any zoning issue of interest in the city of Elmhurst?
There is no one here that wants to make public comment.
Thank you. Eileen, do we need to check to see if anyone is on the phone who wants to make public comments?
We can if you would like. Emily, would you mind checking the phone in my office?
I know a lot of the things we were going to do tonight seem probably unnecessarily pedantic, but in order to conduct really a virtual meeting, these are the things we need to do to make sure everyone has access to hearing and the ability to speak to an issue. So we'll wait while Emily Egan checks the phone to see if anyone wants to make a public comment. She's back. Okay. She is back. Right. While we do that, Eileen, friends, do you want to make a comment?
Yes, I just want to let people who are watching via YouTube who emailed for a phone call during the hearing, you will be called when that case is called. This is a different portion of the meeting. So if you emailed me with your telephone number to participate in public comment or public testimony, you will be getting a phone call during that case.
Thank you, Eileen. Emily, was there any to make a general public comment?
There were no voicemails on Eileen's phone and nothing in the planning info for public comment, general public comment.
Thank you very much. Then we will close that section of the agenda. The next item of business is the approval of minutes of the September 15th Zoning and Planning Commission meeting and the Zoning Board of Appeals. It's hard to imagine it's been 2 months since we have met, but that is the case. So can I have a motion to approve those minutes, a motion and a second?
So moved.
Who is that? Commissioner Uditsky and a second. Commissioner McCoy?
Second.
Second. I saw your hand move, so I take that as a second. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections that anyone would like to make to these minutes? Commissioner Snyder?
Just a few very minor things. So on the last item, adjournment, I believe it should read Commissioner Uditsky made a motion to adjourn. And then my name is misspelled several times throughout the document. Very minor, not a problem, but I would like if my name were spelled properly. Thank you.
Oh, no, that's, I'm gonna tell you that the one thing you don't want to do is mess with someone's name. So we want to make sure your name is spelled correctly. Okay. So we will make those corrections. So, any other corrections, additions, deletions? So we can do it as amended. All right. So, we will then move to the vote to accept the minutes of the September 18th, 2020 meeting as amended. I'm going to ask Eileen if she will call the roll.
Yes, thank you. Commissioner Uditsky,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Burns, Commissioner Callaway,
Yes.
Commissioner Garland,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Pittman,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
Chair Rose.
Yes. Thank you. Those minutes are approved. We'll now go on to we have two cases tonight for public hearing. We'll move on to the first case, the Delta Sonic Map Amendment, Conditional Use Permit, Variations and Plat of Subdivision. Eileen, you are going to handle this, introduce this one to us. I'm going to hand this over to City Planner Eileen Franz, who will introduce this case for us. And then we will have to swear in all of the applicants, including anyone who wishes to speak on this. So please introduce this case to us.
Thank you. This is case 20P07. The application was filed April 21st, 2020. The request is for a map amendment from R1 Single Family Residence to C2 Community Shopping and Service District for 3 of the parcels, a conditional use permit for a car wash, a conditional use permit for an automobile detail shop, a plat of subdivision, a consolidation to combine 4 lots into 1, a variation from the reservoir spaces required for a car wash, a variation from the parking requirements for a detail shop, and a variation from the sign height requirements. The applicant is James Olioli, who's the agent for Delta Sonic. For Delta Sonic Car Wash Systems Incorporated. The legal notice was published October 22nd, 2020. The sign was posted October 23rd, 2020. The mailing was done October 23rd, 2020, which brings us to the public hearing this evening, November 10th, 2020. I just do want to mention that we did continue this case a couple times, so it was published and noticed a couple times, but we did most recently do it on the dates that I just stated. Also, before we turn it over to the applicant, we did have a conversation with the applicant about some potential conditions, and I'm going to read those into the record before we turn it over to the applicant. The first one has to do with North Avenue and the working with IDOT. The recommended condition is the applicant shall use its best efforts to obtain approval from IDOT to construct a sidewalk along the south side of North Avenue as North Avenue abuts the applicant's property, and 2, a crosswalk that meets all accessibility requirements on the east side of Glade Avenue at North Avenue. The applicant shall make application to IDOT and shall make a commercially reasonable effort to obtain the necessary IDOT permits to construct said sidewalk and crosswalk. However, the applicant does not need to secure IDOT permits prior to the construction of the applicant's project, and if IDOT does not issue the necessary permits, this condition shall not prevent the city from issuing a final certificate of occupancy for the applicant's project. And the second recommended condition is to coordinate with Burger King and the city on the shared exit to North Avenue from Bonnie Bray Avenue. Signage should be provided indicating that the driveway is exit only.
Okay, any other conditions or any other comments you want to make before we hand it to the applicant?
Not at this time.
Okay, before we do that, I'm going to ask the court reporter to please swear in anyone who will be giving testimony tonight, either on this case or on the next case. Let's just swear everybody in. So if you intend to speak about this case, or if you're in that public comment room and you're not sure you want to speak on the next case, but maybe you will, please stand up, raise your right hand, and I will ask the Mr. Bolio, I see his hand raised, and the court reporter will swear you in. Kiki?
Sure. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that all of the testimony you give in any of these causes will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. Okay. Keep in mind, this is a public hearing, and we are establishing the record for this. This is a legal proceeding, so we need to have everyone sworn in. I'm now going to ask the applicant to testify about this case. After the applicant testifies and goes through any material, there will then be questions from commissioners if they have them, and then there will be public testimony. In that public testimony, anyone can also question the applicant if they so choose. After that, we will then ask the applicant to respond to any of that, and then we will close the public hearing. So, let me hand it to Mr. Bolioli. Just a moment, you are muted. Okay, you are not muted anymore.
Good evening, thank you. Eileen, is it possible for me to share the content on my screen? I think you're muted, Eileen. It won't let me share.
So Susan is sharing it with you now.
Okay.
Hold on, I just moved. Yes. Okay, you should have the ability to do that.
Okay, can you see my PowerPoint presentation?
I can. Make sure everyone else can see it.
Yes, I can.
All right. Good evening. I'd like to start, as you know, I'm James Bolioli. I'm in-house counsel for Delta Sonic. With me on the phone, I have Michael Yount. He's our director of construction for Delta Sonic. I have Jeremy Brooks, our in-house engineer for Delta Sonic. I have Chris Baumgartner, our regional director for Delta Sonic. I have Michael Worthman from KLA Engineering, our traffic engineer. And I have Kathy West, our local land use attorney, who's in the building right now.
Before you go further, I want to affirm that all of those people on the phone did participate in and were sworn in. Can they please affirm that for me? They all
Hi, Cheryl.
Okay. All right.
I need to be sworn in. Jeremy Brooks?
Jeremy, thank you. Can we swear Jeremy in?
Okay. Please swear Jeremy in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Thank you. All right. We can proceed then.
Okay. The property is 600 West North Avenue in Elmhurst. It is the location of an existing Delta Sonic. As Eileen mentioned, we are seeking a number of approvals, including a map amendment for 3 parcels currently zoned R1 residential to propose C2. We are seeking 2 conditional uses for the car wash, which is existing, and the detail, which is also in C2. We're seeking 3 variations for the car wash reservoir spaces or stacking spaces. We have 6 currently. We're proposing 26, and we're required 42 for a deficiency of 16. We're requesting a parking variance. Our proposed on-site is 30, and we require 115, and I'm going to walk through all these through the presentation. And we're seeking for signage mounting height. We're allowed 20 feet, and we're going to 24 feet 6 inches. We are seeking a consolidation also. After submitting the application in April, we did have 2 neighbor meetings. We invited every neighbor on the mailing on the notice list. They were done via Microsoft Teams. Our first neighbor meeting was on June 23rd, After that meeting, we took the next month, we conducted additional studies, and we modified the site plan and the building elevations to address the comments the best we could. So we have met with the neighbors twice. I'm just trying to move forward here. So just to summarize, as Eileen noted, in April 2020, we submitted our initial applications. Those applications included a traffic report prepared by KLOA, dated March 18, 2020, and a noise assessment prepared by Soundscape Engineering, dated January 22nd, 2020. On September 15th, after our two neighbor meetings, we submitted revised plans to the city and building elevations. Those also included an additional letter from KLOA analyzing the traffic on Glade Avenue, additional landscaping added to the Bonnie Bray cul-de-sac, a detail building was modified to step down back of the building to reduce the impact of the neighbors, and drainage was added to the green space behind the rear of the building to pick up any runoff flowing actually from the neighbors towards our site. On September 21st, I submitted a letter addressing all the written comments received from the residents. On September 28th, I submitted a letter addressing the comments from the city's traffic engineer, Sam Schwartz. And on October 19th, I submitted a letter addressing questions from Sam Schwartz and zoning and planning board member Carol Snyder. The existing property is shown here on the aerial. As you can see, Delta Sonic is located along North Ave. North Ave is located here. We have Bonnie Bray here and Glade on this side. Delta Sonic currently has 8 fueling stations on its 2 islands, a small 750 square foot convenience store located in this area, and a car wash tunnel that stacks from this direction through a single prep hut, that's where the cars are pre-sprayed, through here, through the car wash tunnel, and out to the drying stations, which head out on North Avenue. Currently, I believe there are 3 drying stations. Delta Sonic also owns a lot located behind the existing facility that used to be a residential house that was knocked down and provides employee parking. And Delta Sonic is in contract to buy the 2 apartment houses located in the green area. That makes up the entire site. Currently, the area where the Delta Sonic is currently located, not including the residential house, is zoned C2, and the 3 residential lots, the one where my arrow is, and the other 2 are zoned R1. Currently, the site has a traffic circulation issue. If you're familiar with this site, if you've come onto this site, it is a very small site. We currently can stack 6 cars back from the pay booths and at that point we're blocking the first driveway. Any more than that, we were stacking the gas pumps are out into the road. So it does cause a significant issue. So the genesis for this project was threefold. We had 3 goals with this project. First was to improve the traffic circulation, stacking, and operation of the car wash, to provide a safer environment for our customers and people on the abutting roadways. Second was to provide additional services for the existing car wash customers, and those services are interior cleaning and interior vacuums. And the third was to provide extended detail with appointment-based services, and those are typically 2 to 5 cars a day where you make an appointment, you drop your car off, you come back at the end of the day and you pick it up. I'm going to walk through the project now. The project includes increasing the reservoir or stacking spaces from 6 to 26. So it's a 4-fold increase, and that is located in this area over here. The project includes removing the single bay pre-spray hut and adding a double spray pre-spray hut. And this is actually a significant benefit to operations because where the line slows down is when a car is in this area. The car wash can process about 200 cars an hour. What slows the site down is here. By adding a double prep hut, the line continually moves now, so the backup will not be as severe. As one car is being washed, the other car is finished and is timed and sent out. When this car is cleaned, it's out, the next car moves into this position. So it actually drastically increases the speed of the line, so the 26 spaces will actually move a lot faster than the 6 currently do now. We're adding 2 new pay booths in this area. One of those will be an XPT pay booth, and that is like a fast pass. You get an RFID chip on your car, You pull up, the gate automatically opens, and you move through, further speeding up the process. You don't interact with any people, and we find we have a lot of monthly customers that use that. We are providing a new exit out only driveway where the Burger King is, at the other side of the Bonnie Bray cul-de-sac. This can be used for people exiting the detail building to go to North Avenue. Also people exiting the car wash who now don't want to go to the drying stations, they can go right out and leave. We are proposing a new 26,280 square foot building. I'm going to walk through how that building operates in a moment. It has 10 internal parking spaces and 12 vacuum/detail spaces. And the genesis of this building was that a lot of the stuff, as you'll see as we go through the presentation, and a lot of other Delta Sonic sites occurs outside this building. The building's usually smaller. Our goal was to enclose all of those uses so that there'd be no noise or visual impact to any of the budding properties. The building is actually to help mitigate the project, and it does so as we walk through the studies. We are proposing new landscaping based on our conversation with the neighbors. We're going to heavily landscape the end of the Bonnie Bray cul-de-sac and be responsible for maintaining that. We are proposing evergreens all along the back of the site and wrapping around Bonnie Bray. We are proposing an 8-foot-high Cimatec fence as a sound barrier. It looks like stone, but it's a man-made material. And we are proposing catch drains all in the back of the site for any neighboring runoff that runs towards our site, so it doesn't in any way go back onto the neighbor's site, because we do have some drainage in that direction. Finally, we have agreed to seek approval to build a sidewalk to improve the pedestrian walking all across the front of our site, and we've agreed, if the city wants it, to build a sidewalk up to Glade Avenue at the end of our site. So we'll improve the pedestrian area of this area of town. Just so you can see the improvement in the stacking, you remember the last plan, you can see that we can stack significantly more cars through into the car wash. And now when the cars leave, they have an option. If they're going to get dried, customers actually don't get dried anymore because they come multiple times a week. They either don't want to tip or they're more in a rush. They just come through the car wash and leave. So this will further improve the exiting of the car wash in this area. This is a blow-up of the interior of the building. And just to walk through what we have here, this is where you'd enter and exit the building, this area here. You can see these are the 12 vacuum/detail spaces. You have a drive aisle, and I'll walk through how you go through the car wash. And then you have our 10 employee parking spaces. This doesn't operate similar to the exterior car wash. We have a lot less people to come in here, and what they do is they drive in, they will circle around, and right here they will be met by an employee. That employee will take their car from them. They will then enter the building and go to the customer waiting area. The employee brings the car to the belt. The car gets a quick interior on the belt, and when it comes out, the employee drives it to one of these stations here. At that station, the employee finishes the car, goes and gets the customer, walks them out, they inspect the car, and then the customer gets in the car and leaves. So it's a much slower movement of traffic, which much less cars in here. This area here has a stop bar, so that when cars leave here, it has a door and a stop bar and glass on the side of the building so that you can see as you pull out, allowing the free flow of traffic in this direction, so that we have stopping here in a safe way for cars to exit. A lot of these areas on a typical Delta Sonic site would be outside, such as all these vacuums, all the drive lanes, and a lot of the employee parking. The only thing that would be part of the building would be the waiting area and the detail area. We put it all in the building because it blocks out all the noise, visual, and any potential smells because it's contained within the building. This is the elevation of the new building, and just to orient yourself, we're going to look at the bottom, which is the west elevation. The bottom is the side that faces right here On the left side is the side that faces North Avenue. On the right side is the side that faces the residence. What we did is the building, this is the new detail building over here. The detail building is originally 26 feet straight across. After meeting with the neighbors and then asking us to decrease the visual impact of the building, we dropped the building by 6 feet for the last 30 feet of the building to 20 feet. So it's more consistent with a one-story home for the last 30 feet of the site. The building materials are all brick, and I will show you a rendering of the back of the building, but we made it look like it had windows and brick and different elevations. This is along the back of the building at the 20-foot mark. These are not real windows. They are spandrel glass, so they are all solid. You can't see in or out of them, but we broke up the building with the use of brick, the use of some vertical elements, and the use of windows all across the back. This is a rendering of what that building would look like from Glade Avenue. You can see the Cimatec stone fence in this area, 8 feet high. You can see the arborvitae which wrap around it, and you can see how the building steps down and how the facade breaks up with the different materials and the windows we propose. We did analyze all the potential impacts that we could assess here. As I noted, we did do the initial traffic letter, and as KLA concluded, it results in an improvement to circulation impacts to North Avenue. The subsequent KLA letter in July indicated that there'd be, even with the enhanced operations, a modest increase in business, and we're looking at an increase in business of 5 to 10%, so it's not significant. There's going to be limited impact on Glade Avenue. The noise impact assessment said that project-related noise would not increase sound levels by more than 3 decibels, and the project meets the requirements of the City of Elmhurst. The lighting is completely code compliant and downward shielded. The rear of the site will only have building security lighting. There'll be no lights, there's no doors on the back of the building. So just minor security lighting, all downward shielded, and it will not spray onto any of the abutting neighbors. It's all been designed in compliance with the ordinance as far as foot candle levels. And finally, with respect to the stormwater and drainage, the project will store the stormwater drainage within underground storage vaults. We have a restricted manhole, which will control the rates into the Bonnie Brae storm sewer. It's designed for the 1 to 100 year storm event, and the site's been graded so there'll be no runoff onto the neighbors. And as I noted, yard drains have been installed behind the building to pick up any of the neighbors' drainage that runs towards our site. As far as our applications, and I did submit letters addressing all this, but I'll just summarize. We are seeking a map amendment. There are 4 criteria in reviewing a map amendment, and I'll quickly walk through those. But if you look to the left, this is your current zoning map. The front part of the Delta Sonic is zone C2. You can see it here in the red rectangle. The last 3 properties, 1, 2, 3, are zoned R1. And as you can see, on either side, there are commercial properties to this depth. This is from the comprehensive plan in the City of Elmhurst, and this shows that this area has been identified to go to neighborhood commercial, including the 3 residential properties, making it consistent with what we're requesting the map amendment for. And neighborhood commercial includes retail and service businesses to meet the convenience needs of the surrounding neighborhoods, and Delta Sonic would fit that definition. As far as the 4 criteria you need to look at is the existing uses of the properties within the general area. If you look to both sides of this, to the east is Midas Auto Repair and Elmhurst KinderCare, which are the same depth as we're asking. And to the west, you have Burger King and Jiffy Lube, again to the same depth we're asking the property to rezone to. The next criteria is the zoning classification of the properties in the general area, and as I noted, you can see our request is consistent with both sides of this property. The next criteria is the suitability of the property for the uses permitted under the existing zoning as well as the proposed zoning. They are currently residential and appear to be suited for residential, although one of them no longer has a house on it. However, they are suitable for our expansion, and with that expansion and the safeguards we put in place as far as the building, the landscaping, the elevations, and the noise mitigation measures, they will pose no impact to any of the abutting residential properties. And the final criteria is the comprehensive plan. And as I noted, this rezoning is consistent with your comprehensive plan. And if you look through other parts of that plan, it talks about providing additional services, which this will, and fitting in with the area and the quality of this development with all the brickwork and the architecture will be an improvement to this site. The next approval we're seeking are the conditional uses for the car wash and detail facility. These are your criteria for those uses. Going through the first one, I won't read it, but it talks about detriment, that there won't be a detriment to the or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, and general welfare. There will be a detriment. This project actually improves the site above the existing condition, especially with respect to traffic. It actually improves the project with respect to noise and visual impacts, because currently there's only a 4-foot fence and some minor landscaping buffering the existing stack from the neighborhood. When we get done, there'll be a row of arborvitae, a sound wall, and additional landscaping, which will be further improvement. The next criteria is whether they'll be injurious to the use and enjoyment of the property in the immediate vicinity. The answer to that, I believe, is also no. The project has been designed to mitigate any potential impacts. The building will enclose all the new uses. The fence and landscaping are an improvement, and we actually added drainage to help pick up neighboring drainage that's not on our property. So overall, it should be an improvement to the neighborhood. Next criteria is whether it will impede the normal or orderly development and improvement of the surrounding properties or uses permitted in the district. This will not impede any future development of any of the abutting properties. Next, adequate utilities, access, and facilities are all provided, as you can see from our civil plans. Adequate measures for ingress and egress are provided. We are not changing any of the curb cuts on North Avenue. We are not making any curb cuts to either Bonnie Bray or Glade. So we're not tying this facility into any of those side roads. In fact, if you look at this criteria, we're actually improving the existing situation, because when we get done with this, we won't have that stack into North Avenue that we currently have if the site does not get improved. The conditional use is not contrary to the comprehensive plan, as we discussed, and it will conform with all the regulations except for the 3 variances we're asking for, which I will walk through and I believe are justified based on this type of use. We are seeking 3 variances. The first one is for the reservoir spaces. We provide 26. We have existing 6, and we're required to have 42, so that's a 16 space request. We are not increasing the size of the car wash, so currently we have 6, we're required to have 42. So we're actually bringing the site more into compliance with this project. There are 3 criteria. The plight of the owner is due to unique circumstances, and this is a unique site. It's very small, it's an existing business, and it's confined by 3 abutting roads and residential to the rear. With the improvements, the stacking will be improved, and without the variance relief, the project would not move forward, and the existing car wash would still operate short more spaces than it is now. So I believe that's justification for this variance. The next is, if granted, it will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. I actually believe by granting this reservoir space variance, it's improving the character of the neighborhood, because we're actually going to remove the cars that are currently stacking on North Avenue. And finally, we can't yield a reasonable return or provide the owner tenants a reasonable enjoyment of the property if the use permitted under the existing conditions. And basically, without this variance, we can't modernize this site. And we can't make it competitive with the other car washes and businesses that are doing what we do. And we can't make the improvements as far as noise, safety, and screening that we're doing. So we believe that we can't reach a reasonable return without this variance. The next variance we're looking for is the number of parking stalls. Based on your code, we are required to have 115 parking stalls. The detail shop generates 100 of those spaces. We provide 30 spaces on site. That is the 12 vacuum spaces in the building, which can be parked, the 10 employee parking spaces in the basement for 22, and the 8 spaces at the pumps, which do count. So we're requesting an 85 space parking variance. The building generates no parking. Not one person comes to the building, parks a car, and does anything else. Besides the employees, there are no parked cars on the site for customers. So this building does not generate any parking spaces, although the code requires it to provide 100. In addition to the 30 spaces on site, we have leased 20 spaces off-site, and I'll show you where that is shortly. That building we leased it from, they have 8 available spaces pursuant to their code, but based operationally, they have more than 20 available, so they leased us 20 spaces. Again, the site is unique because it's so small and we have nowhere else to fit any parking. We believe this variation will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood because we can park. Our average employees on the site are between 10 and 15. Our peak is 22. So we can park 22 actually in the building if we use all the vacuum spaces, but we did lease the additional 20 so that we can park them off-site and have them walk onto the site, leaving those spaces open for vacuuming. So we don't believe it'll change the essential character of the neighborhood because we'll have more than enough parking for this facility. And actually, we'll have more parking than we currently have, since the only parking we have is located on the residential lot behind the building at this point. This is a map showing where we lease the parking. We lease the parking on this office building located on the corner. This is the Delta Sonic. There is a stop-controlled crosswalk here, and then simply have to walk across the 4 properties to get here. We will, in colder months, be driving our employees back and forth to those sites so that they don't have an issue with walking. As I noted, they have leased us 20 spaces pursuant to their code. If you did their math, they have 8 above code, but operationally, they have more than 20 available, so they did lease us 20. The final requirement is for the variance we're seeking is for the 20-foot sign height. We're allowed to be 20 feet. We're proposing 24 feet 6 inches. And those are for the 2 signs located on the expansion that say detail and interior cleaning to let people know what that building is. Based on the configuration of the building and the glass so that we can build an attractive building, the signs can't go any lower than 24.6 feet. They are lower if you look at the height of the owner's unique circumstances. The way this building is oriented, they need to be higher up so that they're visible. I don't believe it'll alter the essential character of the neighborhood since they're actually lower than the signs Delta already has on the building, both here and here. And finally, again, we can't go forward with the project without these variances. It's only 2 signs, and they are necessary because as we add a new use or business to this site, we need to notify the customers as they drive onto the site what they're seeing and where they're going. So those are the variances we're looking for. That's the end of the basic presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions the board has.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me entertain questions now from any one of the commission members. I'll try to open this up myself. Okay. Commissioner Callaway, start with you.
Yeah, I actually just have a request. I don't think we've received a copy of that PowerPoint presentation. Would it be possible to get a copy of that?
Yes, I'll email Eileen a PDF of this after the meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner McCoy.
Hello? Susan, you're muted.
We have you now.
Okay?
We got you.
Okay, this is my question. You said that there wasn't necessary for anyone to park there, but what if people use the convenience store? Do they have to park somewhere?
The convenience store is only 750 square feet, and where our use of the convenience store is people getting gas. They park at the pumps, they run in, and then they leave. We're not changing that situation. The convenience store is not getting bigger, and we're not doing away or adding any gas. So that part of the site's actually not changing. That's going to operate as it currently does.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Keeping on the parking theme, when patrons have either the full detail or the professional showroom detail work done, and it's not conducive to waiting for the work to be completed, I'm assuming they're going to be brought to the site and dropped off.
That's typically what we see. So to get that work done, you need to make an appointment, right? So you make an appointment over the phone or on the internet. We have two options. You bring your car at that time to the convenience store. It gets picked up by an employee, and it gets taken actually through the car wash and then brought into the building where it's brought for full detail. Those services run 6 to 8 hours. So no one stays for that typically. No one will sit. I mean, you could sit in the building for 6 to 8 hours if you wanted, in the customer waiting area. But I would say we have almost no one that does that. Usually they get picked up or dropped off.
So would it be fair to say that for those types of patrons, you would be increasing traffic onto the site because they would be bringing their car there and they'd have to have somebody who's picking them up?
We do anywhere between 2 to 5 of those a day, so it's not a significant increase.
Okay.
Most days it's 2.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Commissioner Uditsky?
So just to be clear, the vacuum stations inside the detail building,
Yes.
so are those for the public, or is that just for use when, in conjunction with the detailing done by your employees?
Except for the appointment detail, the building is only accessible to people using the car wash.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying that this building is really to provide services for our existing customers that can go through the car wash and then get either the quick clean or vacuum the cars themselves.
And how would those people come in and out? Because in theory, they're not going on the belt, correct? The detail.
This is, sorry, we can't zoom in. I got another, hold on. I think I just showed you. I don't think I put that plan up. The drive aisle between, let me just pull that one up. We did provide that the interior of the building has a 24-foot drive aisle. So these people can pull in and then come right back out the same way. This is 24-foot wide across the way.
Okay, so you could get one going one way and one going the other way.
Like I said, it's very similar to an outdoor operation, except we've simply closed it. So you can pull in, you can vacuum your car, you come right back out, and you turn right out the same way everyone else goes out.
What have you seen at your other sites in terms of the volume of cars at peak time using the vacuums?
25%, 20%. I mean, but it's a quick, you're in, you vacuum 3 to 4 minutes and you leave. So it really moves pretty quickly in and out. And what we will see is, and that's total, that's interior and vacuums. That's what we see generally for people using interior, getting this cleaning or getting the vacuums.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other commissioner have a question? Commissioner Burns?
Just a few questions. One of the comments that came in from the public was from a person who said that they live in a house that's adjacent to where the expanded property would be. And their concern was, would it be possible for anyone inside the new building to look out the windows to the south into their yard?
It will not be possible because there will be no windows facing any of the residential properties.
Okay.
That's a solid, those are faux windows. They're called spandrel glass. So they look like windows, but they are completely solid. And so there'll be no you cannot look into in the residential neighborhood at any part of the building.
Thanks, I just wanted to get that
Yeah.
on record for the benefit of the residents. Another question is, in terms of the traffic flow, there were some comments from the traffic consultants concerning the interplay of people coming in off of Bonnie Brae. If we go back to, where people come in and out.
Bonnie Brae's here.
When people exiting onto Bonnie Brae, not onto Bonnie Brae itself, but, the little piece of Bonnie Brae
Yep.
extending south of North Avenue.
We're going to do not enter sign here, so there's no confusion. You can't come in this way.
And then you'll have cross traffic.
This is stop controlled here, with a stop bar, glass, and door controlled, and the traffic that will have the right of way is the car wash. And those car wash cars, if we're going full bore, there's about 45 to 60 seconds between them. So they will be able to stop, wait for a car to pass, and then come on out. We also have talked about on heavy days having an employee here to help direct traffic. If we have a really, you have the 10 days a year, you get snow and then a sunny day. Those tend to be our busiest days, and we'll have additional employees there to help direct any traffic.
Okay, so operationally, will management have some sort of a criterion as to when they would put an employee in that position?
Yes, they will.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other commissioners? Commissioner Snyder?
Yes, thank you. So I would just like to touch back on the employee parking. I had submitted some questions in advance, and you responded, and it was regarding how employees would know whether or not to park in the detail center or in the remote parking area. And your response was that only employees who are starting the shift for the day will use the parking in the interior space. How long are those shifts?
We generally run about 2 shifts a day, so they will go most of the day. They come in the morning at 7 and go there 8 hours, and then the second shift can come in, and they'll use the remote parking.
Okay, so then the interior parking spaces will be, in theory, empty for that second shift.
Yes.
And then you mentioned that you would be operating a shuttle service back and forth between the remote parking and the site itself. So where is the shuttle originating from? Is it going to be a car that's housed in the detail center, and then it will be exiting and entering the detail center during that shift change time?
It'll probably be parked over on the other location in one of the spots there and used to bring people back and forth during the time, and it'll be one of our Delta Sonic cars.
Okay.
So we don't use one of the spots we have on site.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Pittman, you had a question?
Yes, I also had some questions about the employee parking. You mentioned that at peak you anticipated 22 employees. Is that what you experience now, or what you anticipate in the future?
No, that's what we anticipate. That's what the increase.
Okay, and so how many additional employees do you anticipate having over what you currently have?
We currently have between 8 and 10 employees there at a given time. So you're looking at, we're anticipating to operate really between 10 and 15 unless we have a really heavy day, and then our max is about 22.
Okay, and then there were some complaints from the neighbors about parking on the streets. So I guess I want to discuss that, considering that you're going to be doubling your number of employees.
So that issue generates from the fact that we currently park here, and the employees come through the neighborhood and access this parking. With this project, that goes away. The building is going to be there, so there'll be no parking. And you can see there's about 10 cars here currently. We are also instructing all our employees that they are not permitted to park anywhere on the residential streets, and I will agree to give a cell phone number to any of the neighbors that want it. If they see any employees parking on the street, they can call me, and I'll get Chris Baumgartner. But we are instructing our employees that there'll be no more parking anywhere in the neighborhood. They either need to park on our remote site or they need to park within the building.
Okay, so you're saying that there has not been an issue with cars parking on residential streets other than that area that you indicated? I didn't see any myself, and I've been by the site a couple of times, but I just want to confirm that that is your understanding.
That's my understanding based on the 2 neighbor meetings I had. I don't live there, but the main issue was, when I was advised of it from the neighbors, was employees cutting through their neighborhood to get to that parking area, and that is completely going away. But I assured everyone that we would instruct our employees that there will be no parking in the neighborhood now that we have this off-site parking leased, and that I will provide a contact number. So if that does occur, they can directly call me and we can take care of it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Eileen, is there parking allowed on Glade? On-street parking, is that allowed?
I believe so.
I didn't see any signs restricting it on Bonnie Bray or Glade.
We want to commit to being good neighbors, so if it is a concern, we have the parking available and we will address it.
I wanted to check if there's no parking was allowed. I was going to suggest that the neighbors call the police, not you. So if parking is allowed, we'll let them call you. That's fine. Commissioner McCoy?
Yes, I had a question. When did Delta Sonic purchase the land that you have right now that you park those cars? The R1 piece of property that is now a parking lot.
I have been with this company for 12 years, and we have owned it since I've been here.
So that residential piece of property has been used for a parking lot for 12 years?
Almost. When I started here, the house was still there, and the city came to us and asked us to demo the house because when we bought it, it was not in a good state. But we were parking there even before the house was demoed.
I have one other question. Did the city give you permission to park in a residential property?
I am unclear of how that, again, it was there before I started, unclear of how that got to that, be used like that. I know the city's been out there. I know that they contacted us to demo the house, and I know they're aware of it.
Thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners? Commissioner Hoffman?
Thank you, Chair Rose. I guess one more question regarding the site. You mentioned the uniqueness of the site and the fact that you're making special accommodations by completely enclosing operations that typically would be housed outside. Any other Delta Sonic car washes and detail sites similar to this that you have in the area? And can you speak to the successes that you've had, if that's the case, in terms of mitigating some of the problems that you mentioned, noise, smell, those types of things?
And I know Chris is on the line and he could jump in if he wants, but the only other site that we have that's small like this that I recently did an expansion was Downers Grove. We did not build an enclosed detail center. We did increase the stacking and increase the buffer areas, which seems to improve both the noise and the smells. Again, we're only open till 9 o'clock, so we're not one of those uses going all night. And as I noted, in this area right here, there's almost no screen. It's down here, no screening right now or separation from us and the neighbors. So this should be an improvement. There is no site where we have decided to enclose all those uses outside. Typically, they're outside. And after an improvement such as this in Buffalo, I've done 2 or 3 of them. We've got no complaints. The building will actually cut down on those because the building is ventilated. It's all units on top have been sound muffled. And the building walls will enclose everything, including all the turning, all the movement of the cars, all that stuff we typically get complaints about will now be completely enclosed within the building. So I do see this as being even better than some of the other ones we've done. And we specifically modeled the building here because of its closeness to the neighbors. We wanted to contain everything within the building.
Thank you.
I have a question, which is arbor vitae that are
Yes.
in the back.
Yep.
What is the maximum height those will reach?
I've seen them grow almost 20 feet.
And how large will the ones be that you put in your rendering? It looks like they might be 3 or 4 feet.
They're gonna be 5 to 6 feet. Is typically what we put in.
And they might double in size then.
They're very fast,
Expectation.
and they're very fast growing.
I have another question, which is and I thought I read it in here, but I can't find it immediately. What's the percentage of increase of business you expect as a result of doing this?
We anticipate a range of between 5 and 10% overall. If we got 10%, that would be the highest what we're looking at.
So you are going to double your workforce, spend a lot of money on a building, but you only expect a 5 to 10% increase in business?
We actually do, because it's I would say new business. If you mean the customers coming through and now using the new site, that's higher. What I mean is people who did not come here before. People will pick up more services when they come here, but there'll be a lot of our existing customers that can't get those services here. So we see 5 to 10 new business. Those are people who've never come here. We anticipate probably about 20% of the existing customers will take advantage of the new facilities in here. You're looking at, as far as our pocketbook goes, about a 30% increase. But as far as traffic generation, you're looking at a 5 to 10% increase because the other traffic's already here.
So these will be existing customers who will use additional services.
Yes.
And then you expect a new group of folks to come in, about another 5 to 10%.
That's correct.
Okay. Anyone else? Commissioner Snyder.
Yes, thank you. So just a question, I'd like to go back into into your services inside the detail center. You've got the 10-minute quick details, and you expect, it sounds like, the majority of the work inside to be this sort of 10-minute services. So under peak circumstances, is that 10 minutes? Well, let me go back. Is that 10 minutes just for the detail belt, not including the time it takes to drive into the facility and then review, inspect the services afterwards? Like the total time should be maybe 15 minutes that customer would be in there?
Yeah, I would say about 15 minutes.
Okay, and then under peak operation times, is there any chance that you could foresee a queue developing for detail services? I don't know how many lengths of a car can fit through, but if it takes, about 15 minutes for a car to cycle through during that time, during peak times, is there potential for a queue to develop?
The biggest queue I've ever seen in one of our details is 4 cars, and we could stack those here without any impact as they feed the belt. So we typically don't get a long stack for any of our quick detail, the 10 to 15 minutes. They generally move through pretty quickly. We have enough staff that they go through. Once they get on the belt, it's kind of a time procedure. As soon as they're loaded on the belt, at that point it's all standardized, and then it's just a matter at the end how quickly the customer walks over and takes a look at it. So we have the ability to stack the 4-car queue right in this area if we had to, but we have 38 of these car washes now. I've never seen a big stack for interior detail. More than 4.
Okay, all right, great. And then did you survey any customers, or did you look at the use of this property through the customer experience, and talk, to any existing users about how they view going through the process of the current car wash? Because I have been through it. I use Delta Sonic Car Wash, and it can be a little harrowing at peak times. So at any rate, did you seek feedback about that, and then about just talk about that, please?
I don't think we spoke to, we definitely get customer feedback. either on social media or our website, I will tell you that we get a lot of social feedback. I would say this site, I've been on over the last 2 years, upgrading a lot of our existing sites and building new Delta Sonic sites, both in the Chicagoland area and in Buffalo, where we have most of our facilities. And the common complaint tends to be the line's not moving fast enough. I get stuck in it and I can't go anywhere, and I can't see the line, so I don't know that I'm getting in it. This actually addresses a lot of those concerns, because this line is going to move twice as fast as the current 6-car line right off the bat. The Fast Pass will allow monthly customers to really move through it even quicker than that. And we now would provide, on a lot of these smaller sites, we have the tight stacking where you had a lot of backup into the pumps or the roads, and people are not happy with that. They don't want to mix the gas and the stack. This solves that problem. So specifically to this site, I don't know off the top of my head, but this solves a lot of the problems we typically get complaints about.
Okay.
You have a much better experience when you go through this.
Well, and this brings me, as I look through, what the customer or user experience would be, there's a number of very tight hairpin turns. There's a tight hairpin turn and then several tight 90-degree angle turns that have to be negotiated. So you don't, how many turns is that?
It's actually not. We widened. If you look at our existing, you can practically got to make a U-turn to get into the site now. That's how you enter now. If you come to this site, that's not how we have made it now. This is a much smoother turning. You see how much wider this radius is on both of these?
Yes, so you widen the...
We widen the width. We increase the turning radius, so you don't have that tight movement anymore. So now you're going to load straight in. You're going to have a gradual turnaround, and then again, we widen that out here. At this point, this is where you merge. We have it in all our car washes, and these cars don't come out together because they're actually being staggered by the HUD itself. As that's one car out, then times out the other car, so it's alternating the cars. So there's not actually even the merge here anymore. One car is coming out at the time, the next car is coming out. It just feeds them. It's all timed with the belt that way. So you're going to see a much easier experience when this gets done.
Okay, and then as the customer is exiting the car wash and needs to turn left into the detail center, is there a curb or a medium divider between the entrance and the exit of the detail center, or just a painted?
We're painting that in case that way there's a little flexibility if you need to, someone's got a bigger car, they're not hitting a curb.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? I have a question about stacking. I'm very familiar with Delta Sonic. We've used it for sure. We drive by this area a lot. So I'm interested in maybe this is purely anecdotal, but what's the longest stack that you've seen in your current facility? And the new redesign will stack a maximum of 26 cars, from what I understand, currently 6. So what's the longest you've ever seen?
At this facility?
Yeah.
I have to ask Chris, are you on? He's probably on mute. I know he's on because I'm on.
Hi.
Hi. Chris, what would you say our longest stack is? Chris is our regional manager, so he's familiar with all these sites.
So the question was the maximum number of cars I've seen on the property?
Right, it's an early spring day in Elmhurst. The snow has stopped and everybody wants to, wash the salt off their car. What has been the biggest stack that you've seen?
Working. We're doing we got a ZMP meeting tonight, so I'm filming it for YouTube.
Driveways, if we have more than 12
for
cars,
open meetings,
we're lining cars into the street, we end up waving them away. We've had dealings with the Elmhurst police in the past. That we just have signs.
It went through here pretty good. How about by you guys?
So we really are limited in Elmhurst. Beyond those 12 cars with shutting off driveways, I'm shutting down gas pumps to accomplish that as well. So there's limited staff.
Yeah, I just made it to work right around I think it was
So
like
12, you would
five,
say,
five,
is the
5:15 or so,
maximum
and
just
then it just
because of
started coming
conditions.
down.
Fit 12, I would be, to fit 12, I would be shutting down gas pumps.
No, I get the city car.
And stacking the cars past the east
Yeah,
gas
I
island.
got the
And after
Ford
that, they
Explorer,
would
so.
start to line into the street,
To
at
from.
which point we have to wave them away.
I'm gonna suggest it's more than that,
Okay,
because
okay.
I've certainly seen.
What, any news or no?
I'll suggest that it's probably.
Is that why you call him?
12.
Well, I can
So-
talk. I mean, I'm not
concerned about
doing
the
anything. I'm
increase
just
in business,
filming
so,
it,
I mean,
doing a screen capture, so.
Good for you, I think
Yeah,
it'd be
go ahead.
wonderful. But how often do you expect that you'll have the full 26 cars stacked up on you? When you say peak business, how often do you think that's gonna occur for you there?
We estimate our peak days are about 10 times a year. Because our peak day is generally the day it snows and the next day it's sunny. I mean, this doesn't operate like our normal retail use where you have peak hours, right? So if you were doing a retail facility here, you'd say the peak is Friday afternoon, Saturday morning. And this is different because this peak's based on weather. So we say our peak days is probably about 10 a year.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Commissioner Burns, you had a question?
Yes, I had a question, but I think it was resolved.
Okay.
I checked for Susan McQuaid's.
What kind of biopsy did they do?
Looks like Dr. Sonic bought the R1 site that's on Bonnie Bray in 1999 from an insurance company, which had bought it in 1993 from the property owner. And apparently there was some problem with the alleged leaking of the wet storage tank, but there's a recorded 2009 NOFO remediation letter. I guess my only other question would be, are there any pending Illinois EPA actions?
My account? I don't believe we have any pending actions. Mike?
Yes, that's correct. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. This is Mike Young. No, the current, any past conditions were taken care of with the leaking tank, fuel upgrade, and at this point, everything else at that site, for our site, is completely closed out.
Thank you.
Commissioner Snyder? Commissioner Burns, were you done? I'm just.
Yes, that was it. Thanks.
Okay, Commissioner Snyder.
Thank you. Who owns what will become the shared exit with Burger King? Who owns that little?
The city does.
City owns that property.
Basically, that's the other end of Bonnie Bray.
Right.
It's a city street, so the city owns that little bit.
Okay, so let's say Burger King sold and the property was redeveloped, a number of years from now, that wouldn't then impact the shared exit, the new exit. Okay.
It's effectively a curb cut onto a city street is what we're getting.
Okay. And then just another question about the windows. So you said there'll be false windows along the south edge of the property. The east and west sides of the property will also have some windows. I'm looking at the west side of the property, and there's the home that is just across the street from there. Those are not false windows, are on that southwest.
We're trying to.
The western wall on the south. Are those translucent blue? I'm just wondering if that homeowner is going to be.
So you're looking. Let me just pull up the aerial. So you're talking about this homeowner?
Yes, correct.
The windows here are not transparent. The windows. This side doesn't look at anything. We have transparent windows up front on this side, but that doesn't face anything except commercial.
Okay, so there won't be a condition that exists where, because you're going to have, you will be having lights and sounds inside, right? So they won't be seeing anything through those windows on the property from their home.
No, the whole point of the building was, like I noted, to enclose everything so they can't see it.
Okay.
Other questions? Any other commissioner have any other questions? Okay, I'm going to ask Assistant City Manager Mike Kopp if there's anyone in the public comment room who would like to make a comment, ask a question, and if there are questions asked, I would ask the applicant, suggest you take down these questions, you'll have an opportunity to respond to them. So is there anyone in that public comment room who would like to make comment on this?
We have one person live and we have 6 that need phone calls.
Okay. Shall we take the live person? Let's take the alive person.
I'm gonna mute myself, okay?
Thank you.
If I can figure that out.
Just put yourself in the bottom of the corner there. Put yourself in the regular
Oh, yeah,
corner.
great. Real quick question. If there's any additional,
What's your name, please?
Can you give us your name, please?
I apologize.
That's okay.
Mark Emmer,
Hello, Mark.
live in Elmhurst, right across the street, actually. On the north side of North Middle. If there's any additional water or runoff that comes from this facility and it goes into the water sewers, do we know what direction the water sewers go? In other words, does it go north through the sewers? Does it go south? Does it go under North Avenue? Or does it go, towards the court?
Let's hope it's not, yeah, let's hope it's not. Let's just hope
Okay,
it's
great,
something
thank you.
more
Gonna ask, Eileen Franz, do we have information on that, Eileen? That's something we could get information on.
Yeah.
I do not have that information, but we can get that information.
Okay. We'll, your comments are gonna be in the public record, and we'll make sure to try to get that information. That would be our Public Works Department would likely have that, so.
Yeah.
So, we've never done this before, this is kind of exciting. So now the process is that we will call people who have asked us to call them so that they can make public comment. And who will do that calling? Mike, will you call them? Other question? Here's my other question. Will each one of them have to be sworn in?
Yes, they will.
So before they make comments, we will have to swear them in, Kiki. Okay?
And then could we have them state their name too, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. Pick 3.
No answer, so we're on to the next one.
Okay.
Please leave your message for 630215571.
Hello, Mr. Himes? Hims? This is Mike Kopp, this is Mike Kopp, the city of Elmhurst. I'm calling you for public testimony.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you state your name and we'll have to swear you in also?
My name is Ralph Hines, in Winter Address.
No, that's fine, you don't have to, you can give it to us if you want, but you don't have to.
Okay, well, we're the house directly south of
Okay.
I'm gonna ask our court reporter to swear you in real quick.
Sorry, what? Sorry.
I'm gonna swear you in. We're gonna swear you in really quick here, okay?
Okay, sure.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Did you hear that, sir?
I did not. Do it again?
Yes, we can. Do it again, Keegan.
Sure. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Okay, sworn in.
Okay, please, we'd like to hear your testimony. We have 5 minutes, so please.
Listening to the presentation and, in the two meetings with Delta Sonic.
Oh, nice.
Over the last few months when we had the neighbors get together. And, as far as my wife and I are concerned, we're not against anything that they're like with the new building. The only one concern I have that I think was already addressed is the drainage from the empty lot now that's there.
Yeah. But I mean, how's the
Water
thickness?
drains away from
Thickness seems to be
the Delta
pretty good.
Sonic property.
Yeah, that's good.
Because they're at the, as you know, on Bonnie Gray, they're at the highest.
Yeah, we'll just have to take our time measure and.
It all runs down Third Street and beyond.
Make sure,
And, because I know we got a lot of water coming through our yard, we get like 2, 3, 4 inches of rain. We got a lot of water running across our yard, our driveway, into our neighbor's yard and so on and so forth down the block, so.
How's your mom's cameras? Those very good?
Mostly with that drainage, they're gonna be doing on the south side of the building, it's gonna maybe not cure it all, but will take away a large amount of water from.
Yeah, we just did like a little minor repair that, when we went there.
Yeah, it usually happens, because there's almost no green
This
space
ain't my
around
mind,
it, so
ours just kind of fall apart under that pressure.
if that holds true, then that'll be a good thing. And, that's really about all I got.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate you participating by phone. You're the first one we've had to do this right now, so thank you. You're a trailblazer, so thanks.
Oh, nice. You guys like a big building over there?
So keep up the good work.
Okay, all right, Mike, thank you very
Okay.
much. I'm gonna try the next person.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Oh, so the Wi-Fi, that's good. Oh, yeah, definitely. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. No, come on. No, I'm just sitting here watching paint dry, so making sure all the time.
Mr. Zuccarino, how is it?
By law, we have to do
This
this
is
whole
my
meeting
cop, the
thing,
city
so
of
like,
Elmhurst.
we're getting sued by some guy.
Oh.
You make one little.
You wanna give
mistake.
testimony?
Yeah.
Okay, what you do is, can you please give us your names?
Can you spell your name? Can you ask him to spell his name as
Because
well?
Delta
Yeah, I
Sonic
have
on
to
North
spell it, I
Avenue
can
wants
give it
it
to the
to
court.
go.
We're gonna swear you.
Yeah, they're testifying now.
Oh.
Yeah, they want to like double that car wash up there. Look at it.
So we're gonna swear you in real quick
So
here.
they want to buy like 2 more residential properties and then convert it from
Do you
R2
this
to
is the court
commercial.
order, do you solemnly swear
Yeah,
or
it's gonna
affirm
be
that the
nice.
testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, okay.
Great, thank you. This is Susan Rose, I'm the chair. Please, you've got 5 minutes, let's hear what's on your mind.
Yeah, you just, yeah. It's really tight up there, but the way they're going to design it, they'll have the power coming on the website, but it's going to be really good.
Knowing that Delta Sonic facility which is over there, I recognize that the increase in volume is going to be from 6 cars to 76 cars, which is 4 times increase in the volume
I'll talk to you
of
soon. Okay, bye-bye. Okay,
facility.
bye.
Does it mean that we will get more noises?
I'm having a hard time hearing, I'm sorry.
Hold on a second, sir. Can you start over? Our court reporter's having a hard time.
And speak louder and slower.
I am calling, I'm resident at Glade Avenue, and I recognize that Delta Sonic car wash, we're gonna increase capacity from 6 cars to 20 cars. That is 4 times increase. They are planning to make mega centers, which will be major source of noise, fuel, gas fuel, which is toxic,
It could be somebody's
that
unmuted the
would
mic,
be
right?
on full and detailed, food sources,
Hold on one second.
various sources for health. That
What
would
is
be a traffic congestion 4 times more than it is now. And overall, that is not made to go with that mega projection
Let's see now, let me back it up.
through residential housing, not on our backyard or front yard. The place for that is
Yeah,
somewhere
'cause
else.
mine is muted, and all we're doing is pulling audio from everybody else's computer,
From
so
the
it could be.
83rd or north,
so-
from the north.
Yeah. So, yeah, so I screen scraped the WebEx, but my profile's muted.
Residential area.
Okay.
And that
So I don't know, it could be somebody else's mic that's,
in Glade Avenue, you're gonna probably
okay, bye.
our property value to be decreased substantially because of that. Because that facility is gonna be major help this for residents and for our children. That's what I was planning, and I hope that somebody will really look into that.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for participating by phone. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Mike Cobb, the City of Elmhurst. You want to speak for public testimony for the Delta Sonic case?
Yes.
Okay, can you please state your name? And we're gonna swear you in really quickly here. The party reporter. Okay.
And if you could have her spell her name for me too after she's sworn, if you don't mind. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Can you please spell your name?
I'm having hard, I can't hear her.
Okay, I will spell it for you. It's E-M-E-L-A, first name. E-M-E-L-A, first name. Yes. Yes. Last name, V-U-K-O-M-A-N-O-V-I-C.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Ma'am, my name is Susan Rose. I'm the chair of the commission. We're happy to have you here. You have 5 minutes. Please give us an idea what's on your mind, what you want to say.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. For my part of my community. We all residents of the Glade Avenue for about 15 years. And that was a fun because yesterday, I believe, at the time of the beginning, we really did not feel that much of the noise that the noise is built. But, lately, the last couple of years, we do feel that more and more. In fact, this year, we are going to make complaints because the smell is so strong that we are not able to do the front part of the house. If we are coming from Vancouver and trying to spend some time inside in front of the house, then the smell of the folks, whatever they're using, is so intense that we cannot stand in front of the house or walking by just doing at all. So not only the smell, but you can also feel that in your mouth. Sometimes almost like you're drinking the soap. You can feel that in the nostrils, in the eyes. That smell goes almost in your clothes. When you come back home inside, you just feel so much that in the sense of the smell. I am very concerned about that. So, people getting more allergies, upper respiratory related symptoms, asthma, caused by the chemicals. I'm also concerned about increases of cancer for the, upper respiratory or in general, because we are just inhaling all of that. Imagine that for the kids. There is a small daycare. The kids is not in front of the Delta Summit, and I think they are taking the time for the field. So I'm very concerned in general of the public health, increased risk of cancer, allergies, and asthma, and all of those related issues that we might have in our neighborhood. We have enough of that in our environment, but adding that and increasing that, I don't think that's a good idea. And I don't think they should feel that that's a danger for public safety as far as the health goes. And it's not ethical to do traffic. It's adding more and more health issues for our people and neighbors. And in general, it's not really, it's endangering that in everything. And I hope they will keep kind of that project, and I hope they will build another place where they don't have residential areas and houses and more kids. This is a good area for the kids, and there are plenty of kids going to the school, and I do not think this is at all a good idea. They rule Delta Sonic from this area, not to build up to make it even bigger.
Okay.
And they will keep that in consideration and provide a different location for their project.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for participating in your comments.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, good evening then.
Okay, thank you.
We have one more person that signed up for the last time there was a public, last time the meeting was north, we're gonna call them anyway, just to make sure they have the opportunity. Hello, this is Mike Cop, City of Elmhurst. I'm calling you. You requested to speak at our public hearing for Delta Sonic. Are you still interested in speaking?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
I'm calling about the Delta Sonic public hearing. You signed up to speak. Are you still interested?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, can you please state your name?
Shireen Hashma.
Can you spell your name, please?
Shireen. That's Hashmat.
And we're going to have you sworn in really quickly here from our court reporter.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Did you hear us swear you in by chance?
No.
Okay, we're going to try again. Go ahead.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. My name is Susan Rose. I'm the chair of the commission. We welcome your comments. You have 5 minutes. I'm going to ask you to speak loudly so that our court reporter can hear you and speak slowly, and tell us what's on your mind.
Okay. So my concern is that I live like right behind this car wash, and having too many cars coming in is not safe for the kids. They're playing because of the pandemic, kids are only place they're playing is everything else is closed, is on the street. I live on Bonnie Bray. They have a parking structure where their employees park on my street, and they come speeding through. With this extension, there will be too many people coming in, and they don't care because these are young people they hired. They don't have kids. They don't share. This speed through like very high speed, and we're always worried about our kids playing on those streets. They don't have like they're not going to school. They're not have recess. That's the spot they play. And then on top of that, with more employees, more cars coming to the area, there's more pollution. I don't want this pollution in my area. I want it to be like, I signed up for a residential area. I don't understand why we need to have this more commercial properties or commercial expansion going on in the residential area. And there is more pollution. As a pediatrician, I feel like there will be more risk of air-related diseases like asthma in the kids, especially when this is where they will be all the time now. Those are my concerns.
Okay, thank you very much. Your concerns are noted. They're now part of the public record. Thank you for participating. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening. All right, Mike, are there any others?
That is all.
Okay, so I will then close the public testimony and ask the applicant. A number of issues were raised. If you would like to respond to any of those issues that were raised. You are unmuted.
Thank you. Can you hear me now?
I can definitely hear you.
Okay. So I'll just quickly run down those. The first issue was with respect to the sewer. You want to know where the sewer ran? The sewer runs into Bonnie Bray and then south down Bonnie Bray. That's where our sewer will run into. The next question was by Mr. Imes, who has the abutting property here. We actually put these drains in to specifically address that issue he raised at the neighbor meeting. So we did address his concern. We will pick up any additional runoff. He's talking runoff from his property that runs towards us. We'll actually catch that too, improving the neighborhood generally. The next issue was the third speaker, and I believe that had to do with increasing in noise and cars. In this area where the 26 cars are, we did do a noise study. This site at full operation will comply with the City of Elmhurst requirements. So, and that study involved putting noise receptors at the property line, measuring the existing noise coming from the facility and the roads, and then plugging in all the metrics of the increased use. So we do not anticipate a noise issue. Further, in this area here, you have an 8-foot high Cematec fence. We wrapped around the entire area. Currently, there's only a 4-foot fence and almost no landscaping, which separates this area from the neighbors. You also have the arborvitae on the neighbor's side of the fence. And again, the site car wash only operates till 9 p.m. So you don't have a lot of significant late nights or late night noise. It's typically during the day. But again, we do comply with the noise study. His main issue is noise. And then we have the fourth person who's really concerned with the smells. Currently, if I go back, you can still see my PowerPoint, correct? Currently, our prep hut is here, and it is a very open prep hut, so that when cars get sprayed off, the wind picks that stuff up and blows it all over the place. In addition, this is where the 4-foot fence is, so there's almost no separation from this area and the neighborhood. This has a canvas top, and the piping picks it up and blows it all over. This is a much more enclosed facility. It's got hard walls. The only openings are here and here, so you don't have a lot of throughway. In addition, that smell will be cut down by the existing, new fence here and landscaping that we're putting in. And finally, we don't anticipate that often having a full 26 cars there. Typically, cars are going to be moving through. We're not going to have constantly 26 cars stacked in. That's our, 10 days a year, worst case scenario. We're full in that area. Prep Hut will actually move those cars quicker through, so you don't have cars idling, stopped, standing. That's not the situation, which is what will generate the noise and the smell. And the fifth resident mentioned speeding, and that has to do, she did bring that up at our meeting, with employees going through their neighborhood to park on this area right here. As you can see from the plan, there'll be no reason for employees to be in the neighborhood, because by approving this project, the entire area where they park will go away, and they'll either be parking inside the building or at the remote location. So the issue she's concerned with will actually go away with the approval of the site. There'll be absolutely no reason for employees to be in the neighborhood for any reason, and this site has no road connections to either of the abutting residential streets. So I think those were the 5 people that spoke in their general concerns.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Before we close the public hearing, I'm going to ask if any other commissioner has comments or follow-up questions they wanted to ask. Okay. Seeing none, we will close this public hearing. It is my estimation, given the hour and the number of folks we have, that we will deliberate this case next week on November 17th. That is our plan. We will not deliberate this particular case tonight. So,
Thank you. Are we able to call in and watch that one, or my first time in Elmhurst, so?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, we welcome you. Normally, we may or may not have any questions, but I think it would be a good idea as we deliberate, if we have questions, for you to be there. So
that is next, the 17th, you said?
That is the 17th, yes.
At 7 p.m. Okay, I'll put it on the calendar. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice night.
All righty.
Excuse me, Susan. I just want to make sure Emily checked the phone and there was no, we do have a slight 30-second delay with the YouTube live. So just want to make sure that nobody else phoned in. It doesn't appear that we have any additional emails for anyone who wanted to speak. But if we could just take a moment and were there any phone messages, Emily?
Yes, Eileen does have one voicemail, and I can listen to it now unless the city planner would like to do it remotely.
She's checking her right now.
We do have one person who would like to speak, so I'm going to go bring Mike her telephone number so we can take care of that.
Okay. Give us about 60 seconds and we'll be able to do that. Do you have that?
There was no answer. In fact, this was the number we called earlier and got the voicemail also. Mostly they're not interested in speaking.
Or they're not picking up their phone for some reason, so we will move forward. All right, then we will close this public hearing. Thank you, and we'll see you again on the 7th. We'll see you again on the 17th.
Thank you and have a nice night.
You as well. Okay. The next item of business we have is a case on Shady Lane, the Zelwood subdivision and variations. I'm going to ask Eileen to please introduce this case to us and we will proceed. Before we proceed, I want to make sure that everyone in that public comment room who wants to speak on this case has been sworn in. If there's anyone who has not been sworn in, please let City Manager Kopp know.
We have two that were not sworn in earlier.
Will you please rise, raise your right hand, and the court reporter will swear you in so that you can give testimony.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Thank you. All right, I'm now going to hand it to Eileen Franz, who will introduce this case, and then we will have the applicant tell us, we'll go through what they are requesting, after which we will have questions from the commission, and then there will be public testimony from all of those who have been sworn in, and we'll also check if there's other people who've called in about this particular case. So, Eileen.
Thank you. Before I get started, Emily, is the applicant in the room with you?
Thank you. I was just going to confirm that. Who do we have on the line currently for the applicant? Paul? This is Emily. Do we have anyone on the line?
So it was my understanding the applicant would be attending in person, not on the phone.
Then no, we do not have the applicant.
The two people who sworn in are actually the applicant. I'm going to send them down to Emily.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Please do. Okay. As soon as they get into the applicant room, I see them moving into that room right now.
All right, the applicants are here. Thank you.
I'm going to ask you to please state your name and what it is you are requesting. Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, thank you. ask Eileen to please introduce this case to us.
Thank you. This is case 20P12. The application was filed May 11th, 2020. The applicant is requesting a variation from lot area and a variation from lot width and a subdivision to divide one lot into 2 lots. The applicant is Michael Swed. The legal notice was published October 22nd, 2020. The sign was posted October 23rd, 2020. The mailing was done October 23rd, 2020, which brings us to the public hearing this evening, November 10th, 2020. This is a case that also was published more than once and noticed a couple times, but these are the dates for this particular public hearing this evening.
Thank you. Now I'll give it to the applicant to please really ask us what you want, or what you're looking for, and then give us really your rationale. We have all the paperwork in front of us, but if you want to add some stuff, we would like to hear from you directly what your thinking is on this.
And excuse me, Rose, I'm not sure if they were sworn in upstairs or if they need to be sworn in now.
They were sworn in upstairs.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead. Thank you.
So, Mike, hi, I'm Eric. It's Mike Swed. He's the owner. I'm the general contractor and his friend. And actually, I live on Ferndale, which is 1 street east from Shady. And my brother lives on River Glen, which is 1 street west of Shady. I'm the reason why he's here. This is my friend, and I want him to be living in this new in our neighborhood. And we asked to divide the lot in two different lengths, in 2 houses. One will be actually for him and his family with the kids, and one will be for sale. Pretty much all my other family will buy that. And I know there is issue with the water traveling to our land, which we already talked to our engineer how to solve this problem. I think our engineer designed the whole system to move all the water to our land, and we agreed to give the city 10-foot easement to let all the water go to our land, and city will have the easement to be able to manage the land, the area where the water will come into our land. And pretty much, biggest thing is like it doesn't really make sense for us to build one house on the 100-foot land. Nobody does this anymore, and I think it will not make sense to build this house for him, paying all these big taxes on the big land. And the house what he wants will be only 3,500 square foot house. We don't want to build 3,500 square foot house on 100-foot land. And we try to build the houses where they will fit the neighborhood. There's actually a couple more new houses on the same street. They did the same thing what we just doing right now last year, and they put it forth and they put, and they fit the neighborhood, and that's what we're trying to do. Thank you.
Okay. Let me ask commissioners if there are questions from commissioners before we move into public testimony. Any commissioner have a question or a comment they want to make? Commissioner Burns.
Yes, good evening. Just a few questions. One, is the applicant involved in real estate development or construction or brokerage apart from this property?
Our house. One of the houses will be built for himself and his family.
Oh, okay, so you're not brokers or?
No, we are not brokers, we are not developers. Our house will be mine is
Okay, and then it looks like from the public records that you bought the property back in March, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and Just wondering what brought you to the property, what interested you in it, how you did it.
Well, I used to live on 3 years ago. I used to live on River Glen, which is one street west from Shady Lane. I sold the house. We sold the house. That was back on 2018. But actually, the reason why we sold it was I get divorced. But the city of Elmhurst, especially this area, this place where on one side we have a kindergarten, on the other side school, it's like the best area of where I want to live. I think that's why we want to build a house over there, not somewhere else.
Sure. So if you were to be allowed to subdivide this 100-foot lot into 2 50-foot lots, do you have an idea, or has anyone advised you on how much you could sell the other lot for?
We don't want to sell the lot. We just want to build a house next to it. And probably if someone from my friend won't get it, we will put it on sale.
Oh, okay, so you would build a house on each new lot?
Yeah, it's going to be 2 houses on one house on each lot. We want to build the houses.
Okay, and then you would live in one house?
Yes, I would live in one house, and the other one we will see. That's depend on the that's depend on the code, but probably we'll put it on sale.
Oh, okay. Do you have any idea what you would sell the house for?
Probably the price point would be around 900,000.
Okay, that's it. Those are the questions. Thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners?
Chair Rose, you want to mute.
The second criteria is that the variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. So I guess I'm going to ask, if you are building these 2 homes, how much space will you have in between those 2 homes? And in the block that you're going to be building this, can you give us an idea how much space on the side lots there is on the other ones on the block?
Well, definitely there is bigger space between the houses right now in the neighborhood. Not all of them. You know, like I say, like I live on Fine Lane. We have like 4 lots with the 50-footers. The houses are getting closer and closer all the time. It's the new trend. There are people building smaller, like maybe not smaller, but good-sized houses in the small lands. And the space between the houses, you know, when you look at the lot, on the north side there will be at least 10-foot space between the property and the house. Because that's the easement what city is asking me to do, right? Between the houses there will be about 8 to 10 feet, plus minus, depends on the final architectural plans, you know, between the houses, and then it will be about maybe 5 feet on the south side of the south house. Kind of normal for the rest of Elmhurst. It's only in our neighborhood on the R1, that's why all those south side setbacks are much bigger than any other in the other neighborhood in Elmhurst.
Yeah, I guess I'm asking about this very area though here. Are there, how many houses really on the, even on the block you're talking about, have 5-foot side setbacks, which is what would be allowed? Is that correct, Eileen? Just a minute, hold on, just a minute. Eileen, that would be, if they were subdivided, and they would be 2 50-foot lots, frontage lots, there would be a 5-foot side setback on each one of those.
Correct.
10%. Okay. How many other houses on that particular block have got 5-foot setbacks, side setbacks? Is that common? Yeah. I'm asking.
Last year there is a guy, actually friend of mine, who built 2 houses one for himself, one for his sister, and they both living in Amherst, and we brought them to Amherst. You know, they came after us, you know, to Amherst. And, you know, they have two 60-foot lots. They have like, you know, 6 foot, 6 foot, 6 foot, 6 foot sides. Very similar to what we're gonna have now.
But I'm asking about the area where you're gonna build it, and this
It's actually like 2 houses away from us.
is 2 houses away,
No, 3 houses away from us.
from what you're proposing to build.
Yes.
Is that the only one on the block, or are there other ones? Okay. Right.
And also there is another house. There is another brand new house with a friend of mine built that years ago. It's like 5th house from the North Avenue. And both houses close to him. They no more than 6-7 feet away from each other. Because he built his house on a 62-foot lot. Very good friend of mine.
Okay. All right. Other commissioners who might have a question about this? Commissioner Snyder?
Thank you. Hi. So I was looking at the plans that you had submitted, the site plan you had submitted on board docs with the 2 homes on there. And that is what you initially or originally were thinking would go on there. The setback that you have on each of those homes are 4 feet on all sides. So with the 10-foot setback, which is what the engineer, I want to say from Bono Consulting, and the conversation between Kent Johnson of the city and Bono Consulting, they were recommending moving the setback 10 feet. So that pretty significantly would impact the plans that you have for that home on the northern lot. And also they recommended, or they said they would not recommend a basement for that home. Can you just talk about, you know, what were your feelings, impressions, thoughts on the feedback we got through Bono Consulting and the city?
Yeah, like there was a couple of other meetings where we met Kent from city this at the side. The biggest issue is all the water from Fender, which is my street, coming through our legs on the shade. That our calculation, our engineer calculations, was proposing 7.5 feet setback to be able to take all this water, letting go, all this water going through our leg, which city didn't agree on the 7.5 foot. I think they came back to us and tried to do the, even extend the timing for all the rains to 100 years, and we come up with the like 10-foot setback. City agree on this, and we basically changing these plans as, right now, to make the houses a little bit longer and the width, is make them smaller on the width. And we're still gonna be doing about like 5 feet setbacks, 4 feet setbacks. 4 feet and 4 feet between the houses, which gives you 8 feet between house and the other house. And maybe 5 feet on the south side of the south house. We're changing the plans now, but we didn't want to change the plans. We didn't want to spend any more money. It already cost us like $20,000 between March and now. We can get to this point, and we don't even know what we're doing or how we do it. So what are we gonna do?
Did you have a comment?
I do want to comment. So the setbacks are, the setback requirements are 5 feet. So we would not allow 4-foot setbacks for the homes. And I did recommend that the applicant not revise their site plans and the elevations that were submitted until we get further along in this process. I mean, we're just looking at the lot area and the lot width and the subdivision. If they are granted the variations, they will have to submit full building plans that meet all of our setbacks. But at this point, I didn't think it was necessary for them to revise based on the information that Kent was providing. And I did notice that some of the setbacks on the plans submitted did not meet our code, but they will have to meet our code if this is approved and they apply for a building permit.
We will do that.
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioner have a question that they wish to ask? All right, then I will open it up to the public comment room. That looks like there's a number of people who want to make comments. So, Mike, can you shepherd that for us at this point?
So we have 9 in person and 1 requesting by phone.
Okay.
The in person first.
Yeah, let's do the in person. I want to let everyone know you have 5 minutes for each one of you to make your comments. So we'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you for coming to do that. So let's start with my left, which is the lady right there. Let's start there.
Susan, is that okay? There's one person that's sort of like the lead person. Can he go first?
Of course you can. If everyone else agrees to that, that's fine.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hear me okay from here? All right.
Yes, we can. Please give us your name.
Hi, I'm Jacob Hill at 360 Ferndale. And I don't know if I'm the lead person, but I believe I have the closest. I'm directly adjacent.
Well, apparently you've been elected as the lead person, so go for it.
Okay, I'll go with that. But yes, I'm directly adjacent to the subject property. I'm directly behind it. This probably makes me in that sense, probably have the most first-hand view of the property. I want to start with a quote from Elmhurst Comprehensive Plan. And again, my efforts, I know a lot of people are speaking here, and I don't want to hopefully duplicate as little as possible of what they might cover, but I'll say that looking at the Elmhurst Comprehensive Plan, I'm sure you're familiar with, I looked at Goal 2, Objective 1, that was on page 68, Chapter 6. The existing visual and environmental character of Elmhurst residential neighborhoods, including lot sizes, reconfiguration, and strategic elements, should be preserved and enhanced. And I just wanted to start with that because that kind of leads into at least my wife and I's argument against the variance at the property. In fact, instead of lot splitting, we firmly believe that the debate should be focused on whether this is a buildable lot at all. In light of recent stormwater developments in the neighborhood and things that have come to light, I'm a member of the Groundwood Flooding Task Force. We've been looking at water flow throughout the property. In fact, many of us here were in attendance at last night's public works meeting. And this property is a very low spot in the neighborhood and a source of much water flow. We've submitted, several of us, videos and photographic evidence that shows the water flow through this property. Indeed, a river going through this property on the north side of the property. It is directly within the path of how water travels from north to south, east to west. There is a spillway in the recently created Emerson Pond that actually faces towards essentially this property, and I've submitted photographic evidence that looks out from the spillway, the way over the land that it travels through to get to the subject property, to pass through the subject property. And that public works debate about how to mitigate stormwater in the neighborhood is ongoing, just starting, right? Just being turned into a formal project. And it is far too in advance of this process to even consider that this might be a buildable lot in the future. This may be best used as a way to mitigate stormwater, right? The city might be purchasing this property, or maybe the north property. This was to be split in order to detain the significant volumes of water that go through the property. Just so you know, there has not been a stormwater improvement in Prairie Woods in over 50 years. There's been 2 studies, 74 and 96, but none of the study recommendations have been implemented. You have no comprehensive stormwater system. You have no way to handle significant runoff. And this has come up, before this property was purchased. In fact, I'm surprised they weren't aware of the significant issues we've been facing since we've been very public in the neighborhood about what's been going on. In addition to that, we're concerned about the construction itself, how the grading and the construction might affect surrounding properties, right? We saw the recent article about problem builders in Elmhurst and how they had not been possibly correctly monitored the construction work and how occupancies were being granted too soon. And we found out about issues with properties after the event. Well, what if we find out that a swale's been created or channeled or redistributed the water that goes to this property, and we find out what happens with the first significant rainfall, right? So I think we're opening ourselves up to way more potential for downside rather than upside to explain this lot. And we also don't feel like necessarily Elmhurst is able to monitor the construction work once it begins to change that's going to affect on surrounding property. There are other reasons to deny variance as 365 Shady, equally as valid as flooding. You know, Rye Woods cannot support necessarily usually a higher population density. This sets a precedent. We've got 3 dead-end streets with no sidewalks, and pedestrian safety is a growing concern. If this sets up a situation where we can divide any 100-foot lot and it have a high density in this formerly R1 zone, we're affecting safety in the neighborhood. I also want to say that we moved from another part of Elmhurst. We moved from an R2 zone to this R1 zone precisely based on the character we were getting in Crowley Woods. We didn't like that it wasn't like other parts of Elmhurst, right? And changing those criteria, I think, would have an effect on our property valuation and the way people see the character of the neighborhood. I'm not going to cover what the existing properties are.
I'm going to have to tell you that your 5 minutes is up. Can you kind of consolidate more what you want to say?
Absolutely. I would say that you should please deny this variance request, and again, consider whether the property should be considered a lot fit for a residential structure. And please, no matter what, consider the ongoing work that Public Works and the neighborhood is putting into addressing the stormwater issues before we even consider further residential splitting on that property. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next person who would like to speak. Please give us your name.
My name is Mary Ava.
I'm going to just get a step back a little so we can actually see you.
Just speak to yourself a little bit right here. You're right here.
Yeah, I do. My name is Mary Ava. I live at 360 Shady Lane. I am across the street, down one house from the rest. I want to thank you for letting us speak, and especially Eileen for all her help. I requested the variance to deny because it would definitely alter the character of the neighborhood, which the reason we bought on our lot is lots of green space and modest homes and a woodland. This would, as everybody mentioned, setting a precedent to split our lot and any other lot and increase the density and cause more flooding. I must say again that Brownie Woods does not have a stormwater system. It is overland water and a few pipes. I have a pipe in my yard. I also would refer you again to the comprehensive plan and maintaining the character. Also, I would like to refer you to the Elmhurst Code of Ordinance Subdivision 23 that says we should not cause flooding and we should secure the safety from flooding, fire, etc. I think that any tax advantage thing that the city might reap would be put back, causing having to pay for the problems that to control the flooding. On George Docs, I have a document, and I also have some posters that I wanted to go to. I prepared these posters with my grandkids, so they're not exactly professional, since I am now retired and don't have this department. They're on board docs. I don't know. You hold it. Okay. So we start with the flooding on May 17th, and this is Emerson, Ferndale, cul-de-sac, and 2 houses. This is solid water on that flood. It was a 25-year flood. And as it goes through, it hits 375 and 365. And as you can see, there is a river between the house in question and the house next door. This is what we have to mitigate if you put 2 houses on this lot. This is a very thick, big river that keeps going, floods Katy Lane completely, and in that rain, it moves timbers across the street. Now we're down on the other side of the street on Shady Lane. As you can see, the whole street is gone, and there is a ravine culvert that is completely flooded. This is our overland storm sewer. As you can see, there's 2 houses with the front yard flooded. And if you can keep going, it goes down River Glen to the backyard. And this is the backyard of the flooded house. These 2 here are on River Glen. So this starts up here, flows through here, keeps going, and ends up in River Glen and goes out to where the houses are not anymore going towards Salt Creek. So as you can see, this is a flooded river driveway on River Glen. I have put this on board docs so that you can look at this with more detail.
Thank you, that's great.
Also, I have another one. This is 365.
You're gonna have to get someone taller than you to hold that one. Sorry.
I've never been tall.
Me neither, so.
This is the house in question. This is the floodplain FEMA factor where the floodplain goes. And I wanted to show you a new sample house on 325 Shady Lane. This is the house where it fills the property. This is the back of the house. They have a fantastic patio, and in the front there's a driveway. But I don't know where the swales are because this whole area has streets and they're built up. So of course this property doesn't flood, but it leads to flooding in the neighborhood. So we would love, we find this house very nice, but I am not adverse to a beautiful house on that lot. Just not 2, because I'm afraid of the flood. So thank you for your time, and I appreciate you listening, and this is found on Board Doc.
Thank you so much for coming in and doing that. For commission members that Eileen just told us it will be put on board docs. It is on, that's right, it's on already. So thank you for coming in and sharing it with us. Okay, the next person who would like to speak.
Another shorty. Hi.
Oh, we're gonna take over the world, so good.
Hi, my name is Emily Moran. I live at 370 Ferndale. So it's a little bit north and east of this property. The whole area, our whole Brow Woods, is significantly lower than West Avenue. So we generally, from all along West Avenue, from Emerson south, we get all the water green space. We are a low spot. We were not included for some reason in the Burke study, and what's that, 2014. Our neighborhood was not. So it all needs to be looked at closely still. The set of pipes that we're talking about, it goes through about 6 or 7 yards. One of it is mine. It's a small set of pipes that go through 6 or 7 yards of our 118, I think, homes we have in the whole property. It's not comprehensive at all. Backs up easily. And now the Emerson's new detention pond that's in the back that captures some of the water that comes from the north side, not necessarily from the south side where we get it, that now drains into our set of pipes that goes through the 6 or 7 properties. So it's a slow drain, but that drains into our neighborhood system, which we just realized within the last couple of months, and this kind of got the ball rolling with organizing the neighborhood. We were alerted to that. One other, I submitted some videos that I took of my property. We're on Ferndale. We get the water. We get a river flowing next to our home. The videos are not at the height of the storm because I'm in the basement manning all of the water seepage and the water that's coming in. My husband's manning the drains. So this was kind of after the effect. But we get a rushing water, which Public Works recently, just last night, referred to as a 25-year flood. But we get it 2 to 3 times a year. So just so you know, the videos are on there. I hope you take a look. That is what reaches the back of 365 and along the side. All of that water goes through, 375 and over to 365. So not only is there overland flooding, but there is the pipes that go under the yard, but also there's the overland flow. I think it was just a stream that naturally occurred, and it's still there. The last thing that I have a concern at is if homes are built. Builders in our area tend to, perhaps after the city has done an inspection, build berms to keep water from going to their houses. There are, in some of the newer homes, there are landscaping berms surrounding the house or on the third sides of the house where there are swales, water reaching the homes. That's my concern, that these builders would put in berms to keep this water from coming toward their home, and that would impact the rest of them. So, I think that's it.
Okay. Right, and thank you for putting those videos on. Is there the next person who would like to speak? Okay.
Mark Emmerich, I live
Can you step a little back so we can see you? All I see is your hat. Oh, all right. Tell us your name and
Sure,
tell us
Mark
what's on your
Emmerich,
mind.
366 Shady Lane. I live directly across from the lot in question. First of all, were any of you aware of the meeting that we had last in this room? Anybody on the board? You aware? I'm just asking real quick. Is anyone aware of it? No. I'm going to say no because I didn't hear anybody say yes. I see a few yes. Great. We were here last night talking about the same thing. Okay, about the major flooding that runs through Broward Woods. Okay, it's horrible. I'm the one that took the video on the 17th of May this year. Showed the terrible video. Eric, the developer, I sent it to him. He has it. Met with him. He's very nice. That's not the point. Ken has it. Everyone has it. I'm hoping that you all watched that same video from May 17th. It is horrific. How much water is running through in between the north part of the lot in question. It just so happens it's our neighborhood, and it happens to be this lot 2 days in a row that we're discussing, which is very important. Now, I went out and I measured how far it is from the lot line to the houses that are presently on the north side of the lot. 15 to 20 feet. Now, I'm not a surveyor, so it's hard for me to tell exactly where that lot line was, but it's between 15 and 20 feet. Now, this river that's flying through is coming through so fast, that much room, and then another 15 or 20 feet to the other person's house to the south, right? If we allow this to be split, we're cutting down, he's saying 10 feet, we're still shrinking it quite a bit. Somebody said he could go up to 5 feet in the lot line for village work. Think about what the funnel, what that's gonna do flowing through there, goes from a big funnel to a little funnel. Not hard to figure out how fast that water is going to destroy the houses south and west of where that is. It's just not reasonable. The village needs to resolve this problem before we even talk about this kind of situation in Toledo. Like, that house that he talked about up the street at 325, that's on a 60 or 62 wide lot. And that monstrosity takes up the whole lot. Think about it, that's a 60 plus, now we're going to a 50? It just doesn't make any sense. There aren't any new constructions on 50 wide lots in the neighborhood for good reason. The other thing is the pipes. The pipes were 50 years ago, the pipes were that we have. Okay? Emerson School's been built. Emerson School has an addition. Multiple houses have been built. There's so many changes to our neighborhood. I've been there 20 years. In the beginning, I didn't have hardly any flooding. As the years progressed, it got worse and worse and worse. It starts up in north and east of us and flows all the way through. It's not just his lot. It flows all the way through. So I agree with whoever said that lot should be considered a floodway, a catch basin, so to speak. Got one on River Glen. The village came and did that 2 years back. 2 lots. I know multiple places throughout the village. The village came in, made that a catch area, and it helped solve the problem.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. That's helpful. Next person, please. Just state your name and
there it is. My name is Alan Yazdick. I live at 360 Shady Lane, which is directly across the street next to Mark's property. I've lived the last 2 years. I've had 3 flooding events, which have literally turned my house into an island. I do have a catch basin in my front yard, and I live next to Mary as well. I have a catch basin in the front yard, but the amount of water that's coming from west down to our property is so large it can't contain the water and creates a flood and just goes from my house straight to the back where my house is literally an island. The thought of splitting the lot across the street is unacceptable because the displacement of water is going to be so much larger that our system can't handle it. Our system is not set up to start increasing density in our neighborhood. The city doesn't even know what the capacity of this. They're scoping the system still to find out what it is and where it goes. They don't even know. And we've done a lot of work with the city and individuals here in the room have put a lot of effort into discovering the water flow. And water flow was created to run to certain areas. And one of those areas is flowing obviously through that lot. Now if that changes and it starts flowing somewhere else, that water is not, it's gonna go where it's not supposed to go. And it's just, the displacement is too much. More driveways, roofs, gutters, sump pumps, the area can't handle it. And I'm directly affected by it. I've had terrible events. I have water just flooding into my window wells 3 times in the last 2 years. So I implore you not to let them split this lot because it's just gonna damage my house further, other houses. It's just not a responsible thing to do. So we have an opportunity to work on the sewer system first before starting to increase density. And I'd like to take that opportunity to do that first. And then we can consider starting to split lots. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. I just want to confirm you're at 360 Shady Lane across the street,
Yes, right across the
and yours is a 50-foot lot?
street. Yes,
Okay, so you're one of the ones that was grandfathered in.
it must have been.
Okay.
Built house. So,
I hear you.
yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. The next person who would like to speak.
Hello, Amy.
Yeah, and you tell us your name.
My name is Michelle Squire. I live at 351 Shady Lane. I do want to preface that I live on a 100-foot lot. I have a 3,600 square foot house, which Eric mentioned does not happen much anymore. The trend is to do the 50-foot lots. I didn't think that's the trend in Grawley Woods. I grew up in Grawley Woods. I tore down the house that I grew up in to build what I think and I hear is a pretty beautiful house in our neighborhood that fits the character of the neighborhood very well. I tried to keep as many trees, full-grown trees, as possible as well, seeing that is what Grawley Woods is about, and have also added other trees as well. So I do want to mention, Eric also has a beautiful house on 100-foot, maybe his lot might be bigger than mine, but to say that that is not a norm is not, I don't feel is true. There's some very gorgeous homes. So I am here to ask that you guys vote no to the subdividing of 365 Shady Lane for the following reasons. We are a zone R1 for a reason. There are smaller lots. Their cousin or whatever bought that 60-foot lot behind him. It is a gorgeous house. It's a huge house. The swimming pool for the kids has to come in the front because the backyard does have a amazing patio from the pictures that I saw, but there's no green space in the back. The landscaping is beautiful, but there are berms that have been built up on both sides of that property. So we think it's important to keep the R1 and to keep the integrity of our neighborhood and the current characteristic of the neighborhood. It sets a precedence in our neighborhood. There's a lot of 100-foot lots left. The 50-foot lots were grandfathered in the 1960s when this moved to an R1 zone for a reason. So I think that keeping the precedence in the neighborhood. Major development shouldn't be done until that flow and the flooding is under control, as many others have reiterated, so I don't like that. I also want to mention that adding more traffic to the dead end is a concern of mine, and we have a lot of new homeowners in our area that have actually built or bought homes that they've redone, and I believe that's what the applicant also has done, is he lived in a house that he flipped and moved out. So I'm not sure, but I'm assuming by what our neighborhood is. So the last question I have is, what is the benefit of the two homes versus one? Is the tax revenue better than, is that more important than keeping the characteristic of our neighborhood? And I'm confident that the builder can design and make a similar home and a similar profit in building one beautiful home on that property. So thank you for your time, and again, I hope that you guys vote not to subscribe this one.
Thank you so much. I really, it takes a lot to come out nowadays, and I really appreciate you doing that. Thank you for coming out and talking to us. Next person who would like to speak.
Good evening. I'm also.
Hi.
Hi, my name's David Knox, and I live at 330 Sundown Avenue. I am actually, I have two homes, two new homes that Eric built, one to my north and one immediately to the rear of my property, 325 Shady Lane, which is being referred to as I'm opposed to the subdivision of Shady Lane. I've experienced 7 years of fallacious dealings with water runoff from the property development to my north. Ken Johnson is sick of hearing from me calling about changes to swales and berms being constructed, as being also talked about here. So the water game is a big problem for our evenings, which I think is getting missed, right? And it has really harmed the quality of life for me and my wife living in our evenings. We have a delicate water balance in that area, and climate change has made it worse. If anything, as many people have mentioned already, we need to really re-examine the amount of absorption, and so, if anything, I think we need to have more absorption of water in Brownie Woods and less. So my concern is just that we continue to build impervious surface. The property to my rear, 325 Shady Lane, I don't know where the water is supposed to go. It's literally dammed. And what backs up onto my property? So the other comment that I would make is that we need to have some oversight of construction. Any construction include there needs to be oversight. But I support everything that everybody behind me has said tonight. We are united there in Brownie Woods. We want to maintain the character of our neighborhood. And I feel that subdividing these properties and building these high density homes on those two lots would severely harm not only the water problem, would harm the character of Brownie Woods. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Knopfs. Is there anyone else who would like to speak tonight in that public comment?
All the in-person people are done. There's actually two people that have asked to be called. I'm going to call them now.
Let's call them.
They don't get red, they get put on board now. You go and use Noah. There's
Hello?
Mr. Strawbridge. This is Mike Pop with the City of Amherst calling you if you want to speak public testimony for the Shady Lane subdivision.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you get sworn in real quick here, okay? So hold on, I'm gonna swear you in.
All right.
Can you hear me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Oh, help me God.
Here you go. Thank you, Mr. Strawbridge. I'm Susan Rose. I'm chair of the zoning commission here. And so you have 5 minutes to tell us what's on your mind, and thank you for calling in and participating. So tell us what's on your mind.
Okay, it probably won't take 5 minutes. The way I understand it, the subject property, he's asking for a zoning variance to subdivide the lot into two separate lots. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. I can't for the life of me understand when the lot goes away. From everything I can tell, it is a lot that is roughly identical in size to the lots on either side of it and the lots across the street from it.
It is not in any way, shape, or form an oversized lot. I don't think that the lot, the front-facing area of the lot is even 100 feet. So if you were to subdivide it into two smaller lots, you would end up with two lots that weren't even 50 feet in width. We've got a ranch house on there. It's not in any way, shape, or form. It would not be in keeping with the rest of the houses in the subdivision. It would not be in any way, shape, or form in keeping with the rest of the neighborhood. We're in an area where they are doing some tearing down buildings, and they are not building teeny tiny houses, but rather 4 larger houses that are roughly similar to what you see going on in almost every other neighborhood house. South Elmhurst, Central Elmhurst, we're building $800,000-$900,000 houses, and this guy wants to subdivide, I think, what is a 75-foot lot into 2 smaller lots. I don't think, with a light, I cannot understand why the zoning commission would even consider that request. I have pictures, but I'm sure that the zoning committee has pictures. What is the size of the lot? You're the zoning committee. You must be able to tell me, right?
It's a lot with 100-foot frontage.
Oh, okay. And the lot on either side of it, what's the frontage?
Ask you to just speak your mind, and I don't want you to take your time with us answering. Just give us an idea what's on your mind.
What's that?
Just tell us what's on your mind, Mr. Strawbridge. Because otherwise we're gonna.
It would be a really, really bad idea. I think practice in the neighborhood. I think it would drive down the property values in this area, and I would be extraordinarily disappointed in the city of Elmhurst and the state of Illinois if we were to allow this area. This is in no way, shape, or form in keeping with the rest of the neighborhood. And I think the rest of the people in this neighborhood, I'm surprised that nobody else, is anybody else besides me, voiced an opinion on this.
We have a lot of them here, so just keep talking. Tell us what you think. We have a lot of people.
Okay, all right, very good. Well, I think I've probably made some.
Thank you, Mr. Strawbridge. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that, so thanks a lot. Okay, we have one more person who asked to be called.
Right. This is Mike Topsy at Elmhurst calling you to give testimony for the Katy Lane subdivision. First, we're gonna swear you in.
Sounds good.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. My name is Susan Rose. I'm the chair of the zoning commission. So we're interested in what you have to say. You've got 5 minutes to say it. And let us know what's in your mind, what you think of this.
Well, first and foremost, I'll try and speak loudly and clearly here, and hopefully I'm a little bit of a trendsetter, seeing as I'm actually calling you from Tampa Bay, Florida right now, because I'm visiting my in-laws.
I don't think that's fair that you're telling us that, but okay. Go ahead.
So in any event, first of all, I want to, thank the commission members and chairs and everything for hearing our arguments here. I pretty much just want to echo all of the sentiments of all of the folks from the North Broward Task Force who have spoken before me. And then just, I guess, also add to that, we really canvass the area for these flooding issues, and a lot of them drive right through that property at 365 Shady. I think number one, the most important part as it pertains to this particular committee meeting is that, we're not 100% sure that the proper flood studies have been done, in order to ensure that the subdivision of these properties will, ensure adequate water flow through. And I just want to also note that, I happen to live at 341 River Glen. We are the furthest west street in that subdivision, and we definitely received the brunt of the flooding. I created a GIS map based on some canvassing that the flooding task force did, and I can definitely tell you that I'm in the worst part of it right there, and I'm not very confident that the area has been, properly, flood studied yet, as it pertains to our most recent areas, but to B, and probably more importantly, is that, whatever goes on with this new development is not going to impact our area disproportionately. I actually think it will. And then kind of as a side note to that, I also want to note that, as Jake said up front there when he took the stand, the character of the neighborhood itself is 100-foot lots, right? I mean, that is the character of the neighborhood, and there are reasons why myself and other people I know in the area have bought those lots. And it's because they are the way they are. And I would just have to say, flooding issues aside, this subdivision leads the way to setting precedent towards other folks coming in. And I get it from the developer side, right? You can sell more homes, make more money, that's fine and everything, but, I don't begrudge anybody the ability to make money or make a living, but it really does essentially change the character of the neighborhood. And I think that's something that the commission and really the village at large needs to take into consideration in making a decision like this, because it stands the possibility of essentially changing the character of the neighborhood. So, again, I think a lot of the other things I have to say have probably been said by a lot of the other folks out here already. I've spent, I think, close to $10,000 fixing structural flooding and overland flooding myself, and there's probably another $5,000 wrapped up in there before I'm done. It's a problem, and I don't think that subdividing this lot is going to make that problem better. So I think that's all I've got, and I thank you all for your time. It's, So.
Well, thank you for participating. Can you spell your name for us, please?
Sure, it's Stephen, S-T-E-P-H-E-N, Lane, L-A-N-E, as in bowling lane.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, and thank you so much for probably being our first long-distance caller. So, thanks a lot, really, for participating. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And please keep me informed if anyone ever calls in from further than Tampa. So.
Yeah, so far you're winning the prize. You're our longest distance. If I had a horn, I'd toot it. So.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, let's check and see if there's anyone else we need to check. We actually really need to check Eileen's voicemail and email to see if there's anyone else who wanted to speak on this issue before we close this, before we close public comment on this. This will take us a minute, so just have patience, please.
Hey, Emily just checked my voicemail, and there are no voicemails, so we'll just refresh our email here and make sure we don't have anything else.
Rose, we do not have any voicemails.
Okay, thank you very much. And no emails? Alrighty, I'm gonna close then the public comment section. I'm gonna go back to the applicants. You heard what the public had to say. Do you have any, you wanna answer any questions or you wanna say anything further? You don't have to, but you are certainly welcome to at this point.
Yeah, I have only like 2, 3 things what I want to say. I want everybody to understand. Last thing what I want to have the enemies in my back, yeah, and be enemy to have in the neighbor. We don't want. We're not doing this to get big profits. We're doing only this to have him to have his own house with his family. As I said this before, and we're thinking to build 2 new houses and allowing the city to get the easement from us. It is only one opportunity right now. There will be no opportunity afterwards. We're gonna renovate the house what we already have there. We're gonna sell it to someone else, and the problem will start over again with the new owner. And I think doing 2 houses right now, we're also gonna storage much more water. The city is gonna make me to do 2 contact systems on the 2 new houses, which there is none right now. This land doesn't storage too much water anymore, like on this point right now. We do 2 new houses, we're gonna have 2 contact systems, but they're gonna storage tons of water in underground. Also, to have this, to have this sway right now, we're not only, I know we're making this sway a little bit smaller what we have right now, but we're gonna go deeper. And it's gonna let all this water go into the land. There is no issue. We're not gonna block any water, we're not gonna direct the water in the other direction. Only from east to west side of our property. What happened next is, I'm thinking it's the city problem. There is no sewer lines anywhere nearby. The sewer line where it's right now over there, what actually is on the north side from our property and the house to the north. It's like 18 inches old pipe that was put 50 years ago. Nobody even knows if this pipe is working or not. That's only thing I want to say. And I'm not gonna change everybody's mind right now of these 2 things. And it's only one time opportunity for everyone to work together, solve the problem, solve the issue, the water issues, and move on with the project. Or if it's not, if people don't want to do it, it's okay. I'm not gonna force anyone. I'm not asking to change their mind right now, but it's the case. And our engineers say building 2 houses we will help neighborhood. The city engineers saying that building 2 houses will help the neighborhood. We will storage more water. We will let the water go through the way how it's supposed to go through, not all around the neighborhood. Just in our land on the 10th floor, and we're gonna go deep. But nobody understands. Nobody wants to listen. It's okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I will now close this public hearing. We will close the public hearing. Given the lateness of the hour, we will not deliberate this tonight. We will deliberate it next week, next Tuesday. So I want to invite everyone to come back if you want. We won't be taking testimony, but I certainly want the applicant to come back if you'd like. So when I say we're not going to be taking testimony, if we have a question of the applicant, that would be to your advantage to be here, but we will not be having any kind of public testimony or formal testimony from the applicant. We will be deliberating this next Tuesday evening, but you're certainly welcome to listen in to that deliberation. So, that ends this portion of the public hearing tonight for this particular issue. The next item on our agenda is other business. Do we have any other business, Eileen?
Other than I emailed all the commissioners today, I just want to make sure you saw that the request from Mariano's for the automobile service station at York and Crestview was withdrawn. So that will not be on our agenda next week. We'll just have the deliberation of the 2 cases that public hearings were held for this evening. And then we do have some cases scheduled for December. I will be getting a schedule out later this week.
Given some of the state and national trends in the COVID virus, we are going to be restricted to in any one particular room, if I'm correct about that. So we're gonna continue this particular format, probably certainly until the end of the year. So, okay, and when Eileen said that Mariano's had withdrawn the request, that's permanently withdrawn. It's not taking it back to rework stuff, they just withdrawn the request, so. All right, seeing no other business, then, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Can we have a motion to adjourn in a second? So moved, Commissioner Pittman, and a second?
Second.
Second, that was Commissioner Burns? Who said that? Commissioner Uditsky, a second. All right, we're gonna have to take this roll call vote again. We have to roll call this vote. So, Eileen, can you please call the roll?
Thank you. Commissioner Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Uditsky?
Yes.
Commissioner Burns?
Yes.
Commissioner Callaway? Commissioner Callaway? I'm sorry. Commissioner Garland?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Chair Rose?
Yes, we are adjourned. Great job, everybody. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
See you next week.